ani analayira n'obubonero obusatu olunaku olwaleero. URA egamba Vipers tejja kulayira, Coast Vipers nayo egamba Joba Kisitu kwolaba ku screen okulaba nga tasala layini olw'ensonga nti Fred Kajoba waba mu maka gano amanyi okubeera nga atiisatiisa ba fourth official. Musajja alina experience yava mu ttiimu ya Bright Stars era nga mutendesi wa national team atenka ba goalkeeper agenda okubeera emabega wa Unicent mu top scorer wa starter mu Uganda Premier League. Goals 13 omuvubuka ono Ziyakateeba era nga Pawira y'omu ku abo ababadde ne consistency mpitirivu nnyo wano ku ttiimu eno eya Vipers, omusuubira okubeera nga ajja kukola nnyo okusobozesa okulaba nga Moses Seruyidde alina kirita zonna, tagenda maaso n'okubeera nga amuyitamu nga ekibumba. Samusimbwa agambye nti bazze kugoba era singa bajjana akabonero bagenda kubeera nga bakaaba, ate ali motivated olw'ensonga nti mukyala we omuyimbi Sophie Nantongo yagenze dda maaso n'okuba nga amuwaana ku Facebook bw'agambye nti Samusimbwa kyekisajja ekisinga okubeera nga kinyirira n'omukwano omuyeterevu era akyagaliza obuwanguzi bwereere nnyo okulaba nga basobola okuba nga bakuba ttiimu ya Fabian Mutombola gookipa wa ttiimu eno eya Vipers era alina okubeera nga yeekuuma nnyo endagiriza za Stephen Mukwala kosa Commonwealth Omiyo leero abatandise ku lugoba otuze Martin Kadu ne Beka Kigongo okubeera nga tukutuusako omupiira guno ne MTN Uganda omuwagizi omupiira gwa Uganda nambe ne #MTN YouTube Football ku social media ate nga ne ku Facebook kosa ne Twitter eyo najjo olina okubeera nga oyita so nga ate ne Startimes on app naye olina okubeera nga essaawa zino wagiragiridde dda abantu abali mu mikolo aba abeekulisa okubeera nga bafunye ekisanja eky'omukaaga nga bava kololo okubeera nga balayira nga baddayo babavuga basobola empaka zino okubeera nga bazirabira ku Startimes on app kasita babeera nga bagenze maaso n'okubeera nga bagidawuniloadinga. Top of the table crash Beka Kigongo.
On records ezo ttiimu ezo ezisinga okubeera nga zisasula omusaala omusava ne Ura Fc omu ennyo eri abasambi baazo.
Bato baleese omupiira wano ttiimu ya Vipers kata ekulembera omupiira Richard Basangwa mwana muto ali ku national team ya under 20 era y'omu ku abo abatwala ttiimu y'eggwanga eno under mole byekwasa okubeera nga etuuka ku final y'okuba ttiimu ya Ghana kosbire ku bwereere but that performance was remarkable. The cross nungi okutowera ba Richard Basangwa engeri gyabuusa ku Benjamin Nyakoje ningekwa basambe Jonathan McKinstry babadde asinga okukkiririzaamu surprisingly wadde mwana muto Patrick Aziz alina space ate ali ku left ne bamukonamu referee n'agamba nti free kick kumpi ne box wano era twandira ba yellow card esooka Ali Sabira twandira ba yellow card esooka referee ono mukambwe bamwandiiseko abamwemulugunya aba club Yondo Paraka balina okulamula omupiira wakati waabwe ne ttiimu ya Kiso Giants bo balina bye baalaba ne bamuloopa mu fufa kakada nga CEO gwe baweeseza fine ya mitwalo 5 bata referee Ali Sabira bamukona bamupambamukaawo
timing ebuzeemu omupiira gubazeewo
Majwega Ivan Moses asala babiri lugo Bobos Kosanko Wira. This is Brian Nasrota mu box mpira naye Cromwell ate n'abafunemu goal mpira n'abiranga Fabian Mutombola agutudde mu kibadde ddala Moses neso mpira bwe ate ne bagutomera ttiimu ya URA ne kujja ne gugibwawo Fukandwanga Bobos bamukonyemu Hood Mulich Samusimbwa naga ate kyekibaddewo omusajja wangudde mupiira Vipers survive. What was save from Fabian Mutombola?
Wonderful save from Fabian Mutombola. Nenoza ennyonyi ze zibalizisa mu bbanga obwedda ziwadda
Asha naguza kufu Ashraf tanategeera mbowa womuwa olina okwegaba amangu asobola okuba nga alina space takabira nnyo nga bamuclosinze. Well pass okujja okusa Commonwealth Omiyo nakolamu Shafik Cromwell asala omuntu Cromwell nateekamu AK47 Samusimbwa eno ye golo gy'olina okubeera ng'ocelebratinga mu celebratinga gya celebratinze ku lunaku president w'eggwanga olagenze maaso n'okubeera ng'alayira. Vipers 0 URA goal emu.
What a wonderful goal. Great professional kuva ewa Shafik kuchika jimu akubika back flip wano naye omulenzi Komyo nakkakkana bungi nnyo nga bwe yakakkananga mu ttiimu ya Paida Black Angels olunaku erasobodde okubeera kuba goolo ennungi ennyo, goolo amakula, goolo etegeeza obulamu n'okufa mu mupiira guno ogwa ttiimu ya Vipers Sports Club kw'ossa ttiimu enyirwa nga ya URA.
Basaze Livingstone Mulondo Sali atuuse leeta omuvubuka ono ogwa this composure apasinze omupiira n'akola akabadi Shafika Jimu ne bakuba omuntu wano 0 asasiza right n'atebesa left. It is a great goal. You must celebrate this goal. Goal ye eyomunana mu season. Cromer Rothomio former Paida Black Angels okubeera nga bapasinga. This is when oyagala okulaba ttiimu eno eya Proline because mbasambi bonna beerina era sigala ejja kusamba ekyokupasinga ekyo. Natulabe basetinze Karimu Atambala Hannington Sewalunyo na
You are able to alina obwetaavu bungi nnyo eri omupiira guno okusinziza ku byonna ne katebe kaabwe tekuli defender yenna, kuliko bonna abasambi ba midfielders n'abalala bateebi.
shot yeno okuva Shafika Jimu
agenda esatu babadde bakuba ligi neyabinywera. So noza ne Serubiri webisonga nti naye guno omwaka gwakubi naye omutunulira nti ajambulunye mufusa.
eno Moses alaba muwadde space newunya engeri ttiimu ya Vipers gyereka Moses Seruyidde okubeera ng'avuga ebigere mukaaga nga enaba midfielders kwawutulira substitutions ezikoleddwa tewali bye bakutteko. Katende Malibu yali ayogera national team ali ne Eddie Kenzo kosa ne Brian Tuka. Eddie Kenzo ng'akutte ku ttama oba bamulaze ku bifaananyi by'e Dubai. Riti alesa mpira mu box bwetyo mpira nigenda mugaza goalkeeper Hannington Sewalunyo. This is why you needed Oriti.
Yakafulumya album ya Made in Africa kyeka tenatambula bunyo kimala nga bwayagadde oba si kyo nga ali kusaidia ttiimu ya Vipers Sports Club.
Agira zonna alinga full figure. Of course twamulabako mujozi gwa ttiimu ya Wakiso Giants naye nga kungula ayambaliddeko jacket ya KCCA ye awagira kiri ekyawano yagamba kyasinga ogenda maaso n'okubanga awagira Facebook ossa ne Twitter ate ngo downloading ne startimes on up omupiira ogulabe ku simu yo kontwala 2.4 Paul Chores atunuddeyo Paul Chores first touch first shot bwatyo eri Hannington Sewalunyo
yabuuda pale nnungi nnyo Alan Kaiwa agitandise wali eri mabega afunye omupiira okuva wa Mulondo bazze bulungi nnyo wano Ura Africa gye bakyageza kubeera ng'aleeta wano kwe kulaba nga bakuleetinga emikisa eginava mu goal ey'ekyenkanya bosi.
Kajimu akazeemu akavudde mu goal. Brian Majwega good control Serubiri mu box ekiraka. Captain Haiduwaliwa amawowolo talina kebere gal brother. Jukira omusajja yasiibye kati tulaba kuba we batyo ku kiwowolo.
Shafik Coach Kajimu gwe mutima gwa URA ulikwalabika obwenyo ttiimu
basaze Fred Kajoba ku muguwa bw'amanzi aliga Yidi Fred Kajoba y'omu ku bagenda okubeera nga basinga okuwoomerwa Yidi wadde si musiraamu. Fred Kajoba omutima gumuli wamu Mama Maria Yosefu omutuukirivu n'abatuukirivu bonna bali wa Fred Kajoba. What a player, what a season is having. Vipers goal emu, URA goal emu.
An identity goal efaananya nga gyakuba KCCA Football Club omupiira ogusembyeyo on form on song. Yunus Sentamu wano with the left foot. What a goal. Bakuliza wano pass okuva wa Natembo Bosyaluhanga freak eya Manzoki. It's a team goal, wonderful goal. Guli emu Vipers Sports Club URA Football Club.
Honestly mu goal eno buli musambi aba contributors ku goal eno akoze kyasinga okubeera nga ategeera long ball era minimum not maximum. Baleso mpira ne gujja Anton tamanyi we guli bagutomedde ne kubeera nga ugenze goal kick. Bobo Sibyaruhanga agezaako okubeera nga ayolesa obwangu eddakiika ziweddeyo. Ali Sabira atunudde ku ssaawa ye era tawananyiza n'abeera nga akonfaminze nti abasajja bano abakulembedde amaanyi bagenkanya bawadde ttiimu ya Express of Advantage. I believe wonna waswa bosa waali alina okubeera nga yacelebratinga kino because bombi yabeekubira nga bebavuganya ku kikopo n'acelebratinga. Balabika bamuvumye Samusimbwa n'abasamula eri musajja mulangira atendese omupiira buli kimu akirabye. Ttiimu ya URA gy'atannawangulira kikopo naye nga asobodde okubeera nga ajja wano akabonero. Ali disappointed like he told me.
From the FC Plug studio, and well, I don't know what I can say, but I'm delighted and I'm happy that we finally have this classic studio. The Ura FC Plug is back for some people who did not know and some people who do not know. This studio, the Ura FC Plug, was a show that we host every Thursday, but because we had to put up this classic, marvelous studio, we had to put it on a break. But yes, we are here. And I am your host, Ochem Patrick Fred. Today, I'm going to be joined by the Chief Executive Officer, or the CEO of Ura Football Club, to help take us through the season that we had, to review the season and to talk about a few certain things that I put up. For those of you who have seen the posters, we're going to have a lot of things to discuss, Ura FC related, to make it precise, so don't expect us to talk about other teams. We're going to stick to Ura Football Club. And before we go into that, we've had the mix of the season. For those of you who are aware, Ura Football Club ended in the second position. That is after the Star Times Uganda Premier League 2020-2021 season came to an end with 4 games left. Express were crowned champions, of course, because they were the table leaders. Ura Football Club finished second, a point below Express FC. But all wasn't lost for Ura Football Club because, as you all know, for those who know, Ura FC was asked to represent Uganda in the CAF Confederations Cup. That and a lot more to come in with the CEO to help us break down what he thinks was the season for Ura Football Club, where we performed, where the club underperformed, what he thinks about the club going into the CAF Confederations Cup, which is supposed to start in September. Yeah, it's supposed to start on September 15th. Yeah, all that is going to come in shortly. So now I think we can head to the guest we have today on the Ura FC Plug, Mr. Henry Mayeko, the Chief Executive Officer of Ura Football Club. Sir, you're welcome to the Ura FC Plug.
Thank you, Patrick.
We are delighted to have you. As you can see, today is the official unveiling of this studio.
Yeah.
And you're joining me from Studio B, as I'm here in Studio A. And by the way, for the viewers out there who do not know, Ura Football Club is the first club and the only club in Uganda to have a studio of its own. And not just a studio, but a state-of-the-art studio. I hope you heard me, a state-of-the-art studio. Joining me, URA, from the URA FC Studio B, Chief Executive Officer Henry Mayeku. What do you make of URA's FC 2020-2021 season?
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. It's a pleasure for us to come and have a platform where we can share the nitty-gritties within our club and our plans and vision, which is supposed to be shared between the RFC management, the board, the players, and our fans spread out there. It's indeed a privilege for us to have this platform on air, and I promise you that every single Thursday we will be right here to update our fans and our viewers the developments within the club. A lot has happened in the previous season, and today we are going to delve much on the pitch and in our strategy and our plans for next season, including the issues to do with the coach.
The season was ended prematurely. That to say, or to mean, the season before, the 2019 and 2020 season, URA Football Club finished 5th. That is below Vipers, who are champions, KCC who are second, AC Villa who are third. URA finished 4th. Yeah, URA finished 4th. The same has happened for URA Football Club the previous season, 2020-2021, where we finished second, and Express were crowned champions. This is the second time it's happening in a row. What does this imply for URA FC as a club? As a club, how much does this affect the club's preparations? Because one would say, if the season had been played to the last, maybe URA Football Club would have been crowned champions.
Yeah, thank you once again. It is so unprecedented that we had to go through this situation. The objective of any competition is to play to the end of the season. And really, when we started this season, our efforts were geared towards achieving the target of at least a trophy. But because of the COVID situation, the cancellations, this has not come to pass. We appreciate the challenge which the Federation faced to come up with that decision. But for us as a club, we were not so contented, but we have to take it because football must move on. We represent the values of the game as well as the values of the club. So we stand with the FIFA for the decisions that they took. It was for the good of the sporting fraternity. The health of Ugandans is just more important than just competitions.
To talk about the CAF Confederations Cup, a lot of people out there in the media and where I've passed and where I managed to pass, some friends or even people who are connected in the Ugandan football top management, thought or said that URA Football Club has always feared to compete in the continent, that is CAF Champions League or CAF Confederations Cup, for the fear to spend money. And I'm also sure you've had this kind of talk somewhere. Maybe you can try to paint the whole picture as the CEO of the club to rectify that. Maybe the fans would have had such rumors that URA Football Club never wants to win trophies because they fear to go to the CAF Champions League or Confederations Cup in fear of spending a lot of money. Can you please help clarify to the viewers out there?
Well, I would like to give assurance to our fans. For us, we derive value in participating in sporting events. And we're expanding the scope of our operations to other areas, including youth and netball. It shows the kind of intention that we have to take the game to another level. Participating on the continent gives us a lot of opportunities. They are massive, and we are looking up to give a very good account of ourselves on the continent. We've been there before. We know what it takes. We know the challenge that's ahead of us, and all our preparations are geared towards giving a good show. This is the accountability we need to give to our followers and our fans spread wide over.
CEO, a lot has happened this previous season. The coach's contract is done, and it's the talk of everywhere. URA Football Club is signing players without a coach. But we're going to talk about this much more later. But URA Football Club signed a number of players going into this season that was concluded. Could you proudly say that URA did the business rightfully in the previous season, because the performance talks for itself. I think URA lost only 3 matches the whole season. That was a double tie against Express, home and away. One at the Arena of Vision, 1-0 loss at the Arena of Vision in Beje. Then they came and again lost against Express FC. That was 2-1, I think, at Wambulukuku. But that aside, putting the performances that Ura Football Club has put on pitch, what was the trick behind? What was the magic behind URA's performance all through the season?
Yeah, there has been rocket science in this, but we had to first know this objective and to set the strategy for the season. Unfortunately, in the sporting industry, to achieve sporting success, it is very hard for you to use short-term interventions. But we tried what we did to make sure we reverse the trend. The first thing we did is we had to study the trend in the last 5 years. Where has been our strength and our weakness? We realized that the previous consecutive 2 seasons, we played very badly in first round, okay? And what we did, our strategy was first, we needed to change things and then achieve our target in the first round. Then we come back for second round, which has always been easy for us. We would know we would ride on past experience. It worked well. And even when we came to January, we had grouped our matches in tiers for us to assess performance. So the league is divided in 6 tiers. We crowned our first round with a tier. We getting 5 points, 5 wins in 5 games. That was a very great achievement for us. Secondly, our assessment of the previous seasons informed our approach we are going to take for the league. One of the discoveries we made is that for the time we have been in the league, each time we scored more than 2 goals, we have not lost a single game. In the last season, we scored 2 goals in the 15 games, and all those were won. And also, where we failed to score 2 goals, we either drew or we lost those games. So it was one of the ideas we were riding on. But going by the statistics, for example, arising from the previous season, we have seen a great improvement on all parameters of key sporting measures. First, on points scored, our target was to achieve 11 points per tier, which for 6 tiers, that would amount to 66 points. We believe that if we scored 66 points in this league, we are going to achieve our dream of winning the league title, because this one last happened, I think, in 2015-16. It's Vipers scored 66 once and KCC once. The rest of the leagues were being won of less than 66 points. Now, our target for next season is 72. We want to achieve 72 points out of the possible 90. We have already laid down strategies to make sure that this feat is achieved. The second area where we improved is our ranking in the league. In the 2019-2020 season, we are 5th. Last season, as you have seen, we are 2nd. The matches we won, in 2019-2020, we won 10 games. 2020-21, we won 17. So it's an improvement of 7 games. You look at the matches drawn. Last season, we drew 10. This season, we have drawn only 6. The matches we lost previously 5. This one, we lost only 2. The goals scored, we had scored 29 goals in the previous season. This season, we scored 41. So we are looking at the key indicators of our performance to see how we progress. And our target for next season, we have based on this current performance to determine what we want to be next season. That one is going to be factored into how we recruit players, the kind of targets and strategy and the performance measurement that we give the coach. On top of that, we continue to do performance evaluation and continuous scouting across the country to see how we can build a team for the future. As we stand now, we are already looking at our squad for 2023-24 season. So the scouting is taking place, it's happening at the same time, us defining our priorities to address our 5-year strategy.
Okay, thank you so much, CEO. For those of you who might be having questions, of course, you go online. We are live on our Facebook tube. We are live on our YouTube channel. That is URA Football Club on YouTube, and then also URA Football Club on Facebook. You can go on, comment. If you have any questions for the CEO, he's here to answer all your questions. Maybe there is a player you've had who the team has signed but has not yet been talked about. Hey, go down and drop in those questions, and I'll be here to ask him those very questions so he can answer them. For now, we are going to go in for a very short break, and we are going to come back with more questions for the CEO because he is here to paint the whole picture of URA Football Club from last season and this.
That's my little angel Rose. Together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
That's my little angel Rose. Together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
That's my little angel Rose. Together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers,
from that short break, though it was long enough for you to learn more about Ura, the organization, of course. We are back, and with me in studio, for those of you who have just joined, I have the CEO, Henry Mayeku, in studio with me. Though he's joining me from another studio because of COVID-19 regulations, we have to keep the social distancing. So CEO, we were still talking about the season, and just recently the club came out to clarify and put up that Majwega has since left the club after his second stint, because he joined us from KCCA on loan to Ura FC, then left for Maroons, and then was later brought back to the team. That was in 2019. He signed a 2-year contract that is from 2019-20 and 2021, which expired and was not extended. What do you make of Majwega as a player? Because if you're to look at the best performers that we had last season, he's probably one of the top players that we had last season.
Yeah, thank you so much. For Majwega has really been a magnificent player for us, especially last season. He has been so outstanding. He supported us with 3 goals and 3 assists. From left back, I think you don't demand a lot from him. But we're a community club, and our vision is to promote the sports, and also we promote the athletics. Majwega made a decision to take his career to give his career another dimension. We respected that one, and we have supported him all the way. Last week I talked to the CEO of KCC, and I congratulated her upon making a very good decision. I've encouraged Majwega to go and even excel, that go beyond what he gave us last season. It is good for us to see that we can make players progress, because I know his KCC has bought into his skill, because we have made him what he has been today. And if you look at his fellow message, he has been so appreciative for the contribution URA has done to him. So we wish him the best.
Someone would think and say Majwega, for the type of player that he had last season for URA Football Club, why couldn't the club go as much to retain him as a player? Because URA Football Club is now going into CAF Confederations Cup, and one would think that we need all the quality players and the maturity, the experience, and Majwega has got all that in his pockets. So, as a CEO, do you think the club did enough to retain him, or there is another replacement for Majwega that the club feels something is going to be done well?
Yeah, I think the club took a very right decision. The decision was made in light of our strategy. We need to win as much as build. Remember, in Majwega's position, we have an upcoming young lad. He has not had the chance at senior level. We also have another left back, senior as Majwega, Arafat Chigongo. Now, the departure of Majwega also gives chance to Alex Akankwasa, who didn't have a chance to feature in that position. We are developing a team by offering chances to all talented players that we scout and bring within our setup. So Majwega's departure is good, and he has done a lot to bring up this boy. I know in the upcoming season, we are going to see a good performance from left back. So the club is not seated. We thought, yes, he has been so good. The club must move on. Objective for next season are even higher. So whether we have the or not, the challenge would easily be would be so bigger than what he has been having. So we don't know what would come of him with the new challenge. So the new challenge is there for the players that we're going to have. They have to stand and accord us what we want.
Still talking about Majwega there, and I'm here to remind you that this is the Ura FC Plug, the only show where you get the latest information and whatever is happening in and around the club at any time. And we are going to be live every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. So make yourself a date every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Make this one of the shows that you're supposed to have weekly. And as I told you, we are live on our Facebook page, that is URA Football Club, and we are also live on our YouTube channel, which is URA Football Club. And as we take off a break from the CEO, I'm here to remind you, for those of you who have questions for him, please go down on our Facebook page on the live video and comment with the questions that you would want the CEO to answer, or also on our YouTube channel. Go down there and give us a subscription. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and also on LinkedIn. Going back to the CEO now, I would like us to talk about signings. CEO, URA has been a little bit silent when it comes to signings, I might say. I do, because we've been linked to very many players. There are various players that we've been linked to. I don't want to put up the list here, but you pretty much know how many players have been put up on the list. I read articles from Kawowo, and by the way, my man Isabire David, good job there. He's the Ugandan Fabrizio, because before you get to know about any signing that is happening in local football, he already has the connections and you already know which player is joining when. So, talking about signings, the club is quiet. It has so far, since then, announced an under-23 Uganda Crane superstar in the name of Simon Valigea, who was announced. What do you make of the club signings? People are worried. Should the public out there, should the URF Football Club supporters expect the club to revamp the squad ahead of the continental football in CAF Confederations Cup? What is the business of transfer like at URA Football Club? What should the people expect?
Yeah, we respect the work of bloggers. They are there to make news and write, but the position of the club stays. URFC took a new approach from the beginning of last season to how we scout and engage our players. The process of assessing our team performance and scouting runs all through a season. Even right now when the season ended, the scouting team is so busy on ground working. The objective is for us to have our input from the continuous assessment of the team that would factor into the work of scouts. So the players who were scouted were identified throughout last season, and those were targeted players with whom we think they are going to add value to our team to seal the gaps that we have, such that we can embark on continental and the league challenge. So as we talk now, we have been in talks with those players who are scouted. The recommendations came from the coaches, and our engagement is basically within that line. When the signings are done, I'm sure the PRO is going to unveil them either on the plug or at the pitch. But either way, the program will be live, so distance will not matter. You'll catch up with the program wherever you'll be. You'll be updated. Otherwise, whatever is being stated now, yes, we have engaged the under-20 international defender. It's one of the departments we thought we needed to strengthen, but doesn't mean we have closed our signings. We know Majwega has departed. You are keen to see someone in left back. We have had a few strikers. We scored 41, and I assure you, the process of engagement and recruitment is ongoing. But it has taken a while because, you know, there are a lot of steps we are supposed to take. We obtain profiles and statistics for each of these players. The players themselves do not maintain anything. We use other providers to secure these services. It comes at a cost. We are supposed to go through a rigorous medical assessment, okay, to establish the potential for this player to deliver. That one takes a process. We are doing all this during lockdown. Movements are a bit restricted. So I would like to ask our dear fans and the viewers to be patient with us as we go through this process. As the norm has been, at the right time we are going to come and we shall announce our squads. Each and every player we have captured will be given a chance.
Okay, thank you. And CEO, before I also let you have a breath of some fresh air. The saga around the head coach. We all know that the head coach's contract expired or got done on 30th of June at the end of the other year's financial year. What do you make of the saga that goes on? And one, people were saying, how can a football club without a coach have a signing? Who sanctions the signings of these players when the team does not have a head coach? Maybe some clarity before we even go into the nitty-gritties of the contracts of a new coach and so on. Who sanctions the signings of the players without a head coach?
What I want to make, I would like to make a point of clarity. There is no saga between Ura FC and head coach, Coach Simba. I myself, I had a chat with Coach Simba last week. We met, we discussed the club, and we discussed not much about his contract with the Ura FC, because the engagement of the head coach is a responsibility of the board. I guide and advise the board on the coach who should come on board, and basically that is my role. And I do that basing on our strategy for the upcoming season. The coach I am supposed to also agree on how the coach is going to make these targets. We don't want to, we are not in the habit of chasing coaches here and there. Actually, our desire is we would like to maintain a coach who can push us for years. And we have seen coaches who have stayed doing wonders. So Alex Ferguson doing a lot of stuff at Manchester. In Uganda, we need to give coaches a chance to develop teams. As we talk now, the issue of the contract for the coach is before the board, and the board will soon make a decision. Again, when the decision is taken, you will talk to the coach himself. A lot of words which have been spoken, unfortunately, it is coming from third parties. I have not heard of a word which comes from the coach, because Ura AFC and the coach Simba, they are in talks. We talk. That's why he is quiet. He has not gone to any studio to accuse the club or say the club has dropped him. His contract through is over. But on matters of football, Simba is still part of us. So until the board pronounces itself on that matter, I would like to request that we hold on the lot of statements and settlements which are coming through as we await the decision. The decision will surely come. About the timing, choose who signs players when the head coach is not there. Like I have already told you, the coach is central to our strategy. He is central to every technical decision that the club undertakes. It is not anywhere in URA that the chairman or the CEO or the technical director makes a decision on a player, because for us, we assess your performance based on the input which you yourself has chosen. Okay, so our measurement for the coach is based on different parameters. Key among them is to make sure we acquire good players. A change which has happened is that maybe previously Ugandans are used to signing players at the end of season. We have not done that this time round. We identify our target transfers during the course of the season, and the key among these is the head coach, because the requirement specifications come from the coach. It goes to the scouting team. The scouts generate their options, also get the profiles of those players. It comes back to the coach, and the coach will advise secretariat on the choices he wants to make. The issue of negotiations engaging these coaches, is governed by the regulations on status and transfer of players. These are matters of compliance for the club, and we don't leave those to the coach. When the coach has selected his player, so that is what happens, and perhaps it has, it may define how we've been doing things. So there is no worry about things which we are doing. I would say we're on course, and I would like our fans to support us in this cause. All we need to do, we need to understand how we do our things such that you appreciate the steps we've taken. The players who are attributed to us, who are rumored to have joined us, if you are our follower of the team, you know what the team needs, and you really assess whether that's the right person we would have signed. Because we will definitely go for the right players that fit in our philosophy and our system.
Thank you so much, CEO. But from what I've picked from you is before the season ends, the club is involved in scouting and looking for the best players during the course of the season. So which means before the season ended, the technical team and the head coach by then will have already submitted a list of players that they want for the upcoming season. So the signing that has so far happened right now and the release of Majwega Brian is all sanctioned or was all sanctioned by the technical team that was there during the course of the season. So anyone out there who maybe thought that the club is signing players outside the technical team's knowledge, the CEO has just clarified that what happens is during the course of the season, the club actually requires the coach to go scout for players that the club thinks can help the club the upcoming season. So maybe, as the CEO stated, the technical team headed by the head coach and the technical director of the club sat down before the season ended and went through the list of players the club thought could acquire this upcoming season. So whatever signing that you may see done by Ura Football Club is not a signing that the club woke up one day today and said we need such a player. It is a signing that was thought of months before you actually see a player being unveiled. I'll go back to the CEO shortly. Now I want us to talk some little bit of continental football. I'm going to go to the CAF Confederations Cup, where Ura Football Club is going to represent Uganda. And the CEO is going to give us a brief about it because he was part of the team the last time the club was in the CAF Confederations Cup, that is in 2015. And he best well knows how these competitions are. CEO, we were lucky that CAF extended the licensing deadline. It was initially the deadline for the CAF license was supposed to end on 15th July. Then it was extended by a month to 15th August. Then, of course, the draws are going to happen. The draws did not change. The draws are still the same. How far has URA gone into licensing the club for the continental football? Out of 100%, what percentage would you give the club so far?
In terms of licensing, we have club licensing that happens first. Then we have player licensing. I can confirm that we are through with the club licensing, 100%. And what remains is that we are not so sure whether our only available accredited stadium is going to be available. I understand from the federation that Nambole is not inspected for CAF and not recommended. So we only have Chitende St. Mary's Stadium, which also still has question marks from CAF. So our choice for the home ground is going to be is actually Chitende. It's what we communicated. Should CAF fail to pass Chitende, then unfortunately, Ura FC will play home games in the neighboring country. That is a national challenge. It's not a club challenge. It's not a football challenge. Uganda, we don't have enough stadium. Back to preparations. We have done preparations. Licensing of players is ongoing. The extension of the registration window is not so nice, the news to the clubs. After all, it comes at a fee, and the players who are, it comes at a fee of $500 per player license. Besides, those players do not play preliminary games. Now, the first preliminary game is going to be played on the weekend of 10th to 11th September. The return leg will be a week later. The second preliminary will be in October, and the last preliminary will be played in the last week of October. and the first week of December. That's the playoff with teams from the CAF Champions League. Those who will have dropped out at the second preliminary. The group stages will start in February. So if you license a player in the window, which is ending on 15th August, he may not feature for either the first two or in the entire preliminary at all. We may wait to use him in Feb. I think it's not so nice. Secondly, we have had a challenge this season, us as teams in Uganda, maybe also African countries, before most leagues were concluded. For our case, the deadline for club licensing was 30th June. Our league was due to end on the 30th June. And if FIFA did not cancel that league, then the licensing process for club will have been a difficult one. But we thank God that one also happened, so we had to beat that deadline. So the player licensing is on. Like I told the structures, we are still thinking maybe we are praying for the best. But all in all, we have made arrangements to have all our games covered on a free-to-air channel in Uganda, so Ugandans will not miss. Yesterday, I had a chat with my colleague at Express. We have agreed we are going to work together to bring all these games on TV. So the Ugandans should remain calm. Everything is under control.
Thank you very much, CEO. And I like the fact that you brought in the aspect of the stadium. I would want to say crucified and put on a frying pan on almost every TV station that I've gone to or radio stations, because people out there feel and think for a football club like Ura Football Club to not have a stadium is totally unacceptable. This should be a discussion of another day, because it is wide, the logistics and what is needed, of course, for a stadium to happen. But for the fans out there who usually ask, and maybe to the football lovers, the journalists and everyone, what has taken too long for Ura Football Club to start groundbreaking on its stadium? Also, maybe you can make people know that the club owns land of its own that was attained in 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. What has stalled the process of Ura Football Club to have its own grounds? Because right now, maybe we wouldn't be worried about where we are going to host our continental games. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think Ura affording to buy 10 acres of land for construction of a stadium project is a very great feat, especially in a country like ours, where clubs don't have much with sporting revenue. Be frustrated because the project has taken a while. Sure is that this season the graders will roll. We are going to do the grading of the stadium, but the challenge that we have, like we've experienced that almost in Uganda, we are failing to have a qualifying stadium. Now the challenge is on us to erect a stadium which can meet FIFA and CAF standards, because what's the use of us setting up a stadium and then we can't meet the standards? The good news is that when the Commissioner General visited the team on 8th January 2021, he gave us green light to go ahead. So since then, we have been engaging on sourcing the service providers. So even in this case, the service providers are also not local available, who can do the feasibility studies and prepare structural designs for a stadium of the stature that Ura is looking up to. What I assure you, the process is going on, but in the meantime, we are going to have works go on at that stadium, because the studies on cellular texture, drainage, and we are good to go. Every season we are going to see progress on that project, because the scope of operation is expanding. We are delving in youth development. That's a mega project which should cover the whole country. We want to give every child on this land a chance to explore the opportunity and talent in football. And something good for women, we are bringing on board women's football. So this will cover both the senior team and the young ones.
Okay, thank you. That is good news to hear that the club is going to have a women's football club. I'm shocked I'm hearing that for the first time, but hey, that is the work of the CEO to know and have what plans the club should be having for the next seasons, and you've heard it from the horse's mouth. If you're a lady out there and you feel that football is your thing, you're a footballer, and probably you are talented in football, and also he said he wants to make football for every young kid. I don't know what you're waiting for to give birth, to maybe have your son be the next Cristiano or the next Shafiq Kajimu or the next Stephen Desemukwala. You never know. Thank you for those who are giving us feedback on YouTube and on our Facebook page. Thank you, Saka, Yekoyada, Muhammad there talking about the stadium and all that. Then we have Kejovan also on YouTube. Thank you so much for the feedback, and we hope that we can only improve this show and even make it much more better than this. For those of you who have just joined in, this is the Ura FC Plug, the only one-stop show where you get to know each and everything about Ura Football Club, team news, fixtures, call it whatever you want to call it. We are here for you, and make sure that you do not leave first without subscribing to the YouTube channel, following us on our Facebook page, and also following us on Twitter as well as LinkedIn. Now, as we summarize the show and maybe call it a day and a good start, I would like to have the CEO to give us his last remarks to the viewers of the Ura FC Plug. CEO, what do you have to promise the fans out there the upcoming season? Because as much as the administrators, the technical team, the staff, the organization, they are as hungry as you for the championship and title. What do you have to tell them? What do you have in stock for the club to go back to its glory days the upcoming season?
Yeah, a lot has happened in the background, and unfortunately, when you are organizing an internal house, it matters in the kitchen. Sometimes they don't just go out anyhow like that. But there is a lot going on, and where we have reached, we have been trying to do internal policies. They can sustain our strategy, readjusting the strategy also to make sure that it can challenge that we have. We are in COVID, we have the Continental, and we are praying that within these coming 5 years we shall play World Cup. So we are trying to put everything together to make sure that we achieve this feat. A few things are going to come to you. We are going to have more interactions. Like the PRO noted at first, we are going to have every Thursday a session here from every department of the club. If you want the coach will come. If you want from our marketing team, it will be here. The performance management team, they will be here. Players, the captain, he will always be here at request. The second thing is that we want to roll out. We're going to roll out the registration for our fans. Initially we were constrained by logistics and strategy. We have now got it. What we are going to do, we are finalizing our software that's going to enable us to register the things online. Third, we have been distributing our jersey. We have a new kit. I think it's going to be the most beautiful kit on the land for the next season. We hope to receive this kit by end of August, hopefully. And that kit, the distribution is going to be so easy. You will be able to purchase it online, and it will be delivered right to your doorstep. The third item for you, our dear fans, is we are going to have 4 engagements where you'll have a direct feedback session with me, your CEO, the chairman, and the other board members or executives that are attached to Ura FC, including our partners. So we hope that those sessions will give proper feedback to help us make this club great again. Otherwise, we thank you so much. Thank you for supporting our club. Thank you for supporting our nation. Ura FC is a community club, is owned by every Ugandan, because every Ugandan contributes to this club. So we would like, as much as possible, to be accounted to everyone, because you are our bosses. So That's why we are expanding the scope of operations to make sure that we touch the life of every Ugandan in whatever way possible, especially through sports. So thank you so much for being with us on this program.
Thank you so much, CEO. It was nice hosting you on the very first show of the Ura FC Plug, and we hope to have you here much more often, because the number of questions that you'll have to answer to the public during the course of the season, I think I'm now going to limit myself so much into the hot seat that I go through on TV and radio stations regarding the club. Thank you so much. It's nice having you, and we hope to have you here anytime soon. For all of you who have been tuned in from the very start to now, thank you so much for being very good viewers, to the Ura Football Club fans and supporters and well-wishers. Thank you so much. And today we have come to the end of this show, but before we go away from here, I would like to urge everyone who's watching this show to go and like our Facebook page on Facebook, which is Ura Football Club. Follow us on Twitter. The handle is @URAFC_official. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Ura Football Club. And also go and like us or follow us on LinkedIn. Stay tuned with every information that falls from the URA media team as it happens, so you do not have to miss that. And also, before I move out of here, I would want to thank URA, Uganda Revenue Authority, for putting up this wonderful studio for Ura Football Club. We appreciate you, of course, the brains behind the studio, Solomon Chimbugwe, and the producer of the show, who is also a man who has been behind whatever you see. This classy staff has had two brains behind it, of course, me being the third. Selector Omario Bosco. Thank you so much for producing the show, and until next time, we're out of here. Thank you.